good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome, Amy, Friendly Paws. Hello, Myra from Toronto. Any other Canadians in the house? I see some familiar faces. Excited to be here with you all today for this special live stream event. Hi, Karen. Nice to see you. I'm pulling up something. Yeah, I wonder. Hold on, just let me see. Okay. Yeah. For what we're going to do today. Hi, J.E. Welcome, 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 Mishi. Yeah, we're going to have a super powerful and fun live stream as always. So if you're new to me, please give me a follow here on Insight Timer, give a donation if you'd like. Check me out online, Natalie Speakman everywhere, website, YouTube, Facebook, Insta, all of that. This replay and all of my replays are available on my YouTube channel. Follow me there if you need to leave early today or want to revisit. And even in the lives where we do the Reiki Ancestral Clearing, you can utilize the energy even in the recording. So if that's interesting to you, you can do that. I'm a spiritual life coach and Reiki Master Teacher. And I help people reach the goal lines of their life and the soul lines. The goal lines are the outer, external goals and results. And really even more important is reaching the soul line inner goals, which are all about our relationship with ourselves and being at peace in the world and being at peace in the moment and learning to love ourselves, have compassion, work with ourselves to be more at peace and more effective. There's a client that I've worked with for over 3 years. And in that time, I have seen her, she had a nervous breakdown during our coaching together. And of course, I supported her through that, and she got the professional, help that she needed. And since that time, through our coaching together and through her own commitment to herself, she is totally transformed. She went from somebody who didn't want to drive in a radius like outside of her home to she just took a trip to the Caribbean, and now she's planning a trip to the UK. And it's just so inspiring to witness. And it's like, that's the goal line. But the inner soul line work that I've seen her transform in her life is, really being on her own team and being on her own side. I see her like constantly acknowledging and validating herself and being like self-supporting. So in my work with others, like it's all about helping people to become their own leaders, their own internal leader. And so even when we think about what we're going to cover today, we're going to be looking at the wonderful topic of money and finances. And so all everything's an external representation, is a reflection, like however our relationship is, however much money we have, that's all an outer representation of what's going on inside of us, the dominant thoughts, energies, vibrations. So we're going to dive deeper into that. Hi, Jessica. Welcome. Glad to see you. Hi, Nancy. yeah. So if you feel the heart call to reach out one-on-one, send me a private message, we'll connect. So we're going to be using this book. It's my Audible version, Overcoming Underearning. So last year I ran a very powerful group coaching program. That book was our curriculum. And I also did it myself. I'd already completed it, but I kind of did it with the group as well. And it was a very powerful process. And I'm in a school right now for my business. And part of the school's curriculum is you must do that book, because there's so many solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, solo practitioners that are under earners, right? So it's really important to do this inner work. So the overcoming under earning is also, just like I was talking about coaching, of like goal line and soul line. Overcoming under earning is also about doing the outer work and doing the inner work. So, but before we, dive deeper into that, is anybody new to this book, Overcoming Under Earning, or new to the phrase under earning? Is that like a new word for anybody here? And like, what are your thoughts about under earning, what that might mean? What is your first inner reaction or response to the word money, or to like the topic, like, we're going to talk about money today? Is there like an internal response of either excitement or dread or fear? So I know many of you already follow me, and I appreciate that. And so many of you have been with me for a long time, and that's wonderful. And I'm curious who is here because they're like, oh my God, this topic, like, I need this, or I don't even know what this is, but I need it. So yeah, I want to get a read of kind of where people are at. So I have a powerful story to tell about my own journey, and this happened a while ago, maybe 2 years ago. And I've told this story before, so if you've heard it, imagine that you've never heard it before. So out of the blue, out of nowhere, out of nothing, I was gifted many thousands of dollars. And I won't go into the story of why that occurred. But the point that I want to pull out of the story is, out of nowhere, I was gifted many thousands of dollars. And I'll always remember I was in Bali on a trip with my best friend, and woke up to this message, and sharing that this would be happening, and then looking in my bank account and seeing this, and it was such an interesting experience, because I swear to you, like, the elation of the receiving of this abundance lasted 30 seconds, maybe 1 full minute before the scarcity and lack mindset kicked in. And I witnessed this, and I just was like, oh my gosh, my mind has always said, if only I had more money, or I don't have enough money. If I had enough money, then everything would be okay. Then I would feel at peace inside. Then I'd be able to relax. Then I'd be able to rest. And that experience showed me very vividly that it had nothing to do with the money. It had only what to do with my internal state, my conditioning, my beliefs, my programs. And, I grew up with a father who is an under-earner, who, was totally in lack and scarcity and fear. My parents, my biggest fear as a kid is that my parents will get divorced. And the reason I felt that way is because they fought about money constantly, all the time. My mom would pick fights. So it's like, oh, of course this is the default. Of course these are the programs. Not to blame them, because of course their parents instilled in them whatever programs that were running. But just to notice, like, this doesn't have to do with a dollar amount. So that was that was a spiritual awakening, in a sense of, like, my mind has always it's looking to the wrong thing. It's looking to some tangible amount of money that's going to solve my inner problem. And that doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I mean, we all know the lottery winners that blow it all and then, they're broke and miserable again, or the millionaires that, have a midlife crisis and realize, after they've achieved everything. I have a client right now who's, in their 40s. They're super successful on the outside. And so now it's like they're faced with looking within deeply at their own issues and problems and relationships, and it's like in their face, like, what is not working? Because now, the striving outside is everything's great. So that's kind of the experience I had when I received this money. Of like, oh my God, it's not about the money. My mind's been focused on the wrong thing. Hi, Teresa. Yeah, I hear you in that frustration. Karen can relate. So what I'm going to do is how am I going to do this? Okay, well, I'm just going to, whatever. Anyway. I'm just thinking about my own screen. Hi, Melinda. I am going to read. So is anybody unclear? Well, before I say that, I want to talk about this idea of under-earning. Because so many people are under-earners and they don't realize it. Does anybody want clarification on, like, what does that even mean? Or does the word itself give you a sense of what that means? Is anybody unclear on what under-earning means? Going once, going twice. And we'll share how this all, it all relates together because, we're talking about money, we're talking about earning, we're talking about value, we're talking about worth. Yeah, so let me pull this up. Okay. I have a workbook here that I used for my coaching program that I want to find. There's like a definition. Okay. The definition of an under-earner. Someone who earns less than their potential despite the need or desire to do otherwise. Someone who earns less than their potential despite the need or desire to do otherwise. All under-earners share one common trait, a high tolerance for low pay. Can anyone relate to that? Under-earning has little to do with the amount of money you make, but about your attitude. It's a condition of deprivation in which physical and emotional needs are not being met. So, we're going to look at you distinguishing within yourself, are you an under-earner? Yeah, so, and, being retired, that doesn't, excuse me, oh my God. Yeah, there still can be money issues, and maybe if somebody's retired, reflecting back on the past on when there was earning. And if somebody is retired, it's like, have you set yourself up for success in retirement? And you could look at that in that way. Thank you. Hi, Kimmy. So, are you an under-earner? And if you want to just whatever, make a check mark, you want to count up the number of yeses that you answer to here. So, I often give away my services, volunteering or working more hours than I'm actually paid. 2, it's so hard to ask for a raise or raise fees, so that I just don't do it. 3, I actually dislike money and or the people who have it. 4, I am proud of my ability to make do with little. There's nobility in being poor. 5, I blame someone or something else for my financial situation. Example, my ex-partner. 6, I find ways to avoid dealing with money, bartering, credit cards, etc. 7, I tend to self-sabotage myself at work, apply for jobs I'm not qualified for or are low paying, stop short of reaching my goals, change jobs a lot. 8, I work very, very hard, long hours, several jobs, or I go into excess and then collapse. 9, I fill my free time with endless chores and tasks. 10, I am in debt with little savings and no idea where my money is going. 11, I have a family history of debt and or under-earning. 12, I'm vague about my earnings, overestimate or underestimate income, see gross, not net. 13, I continually put others' needs before my own. 14, I am frequently in pain or stress around money. 15, recognition and praise are more important to me than money. So, how did that land for you? Are some of you like, oh my God, I didn't know, but I'm answering yes, or some of you are like, nah, none of that applies. So there's a part 2 to the list that I will read next. Yeah, J.E. So, I would say there's always places for people to get creative. And there's possibility there. I stand for possibility. for anyone with anything? So that's a great question. Renuka, welcome. So the book is called Overcoming Underearning. So I'm reading from my coaching program workbook that I created from the book. So now we're going to read part 2 of the list. So part 1, if you're answering those questions and ticking them off, Karen had about 6. Mine is changing now that I'm changing, and I've had many of those, and I don't know my current number. But yeah, hi Sharon. Hi Kathy. So listen to these and also rate yourself with these. I am confident in my ability to make money. I always live below my means. I love money and appreciate what it does for me. I'm very optimistic about my financial future. I experience little fear or insecurity around money. I'm determined to get paid what I'm worth. I'm passionate about my work. I have very supportive and nurturing relationships, including my spouse or partner. I like wealthy people. I have little or no credit card debt. I intentionally get myself into situations beyond my ability and then rise to them. I am resilient and able to bounce back when I fall. I'm filled with gratitude for the success I have achieved. I work very hard, but I know I don't have to do everything myself. I know how to delegate and set limits. I am tenacious in achieving my goals. So that's a very different energy there. So could y'all relate to that list? Now, those are powerful affirmations. So if you want a list of those that you can use as affirmations for yourself, send me a private message. I will get that to you. But it's good to evaluate and reflect and look at this. So, questions, comments, share what's coming up for you in the comments if you would like. And the next checklist in like question and answer that I'm going to go over. So the first step, and it's kind of like 12-step. So I know some of you are in 12-step. I have been for many years. And you know, there's a step in the 12 steps about taking an inventory like of your life and looking at it honestly and looking at, you know, the harm caused, looking at fears, looking at relationship behaviors. So it's about like taking personal responsibility for our actions. So with this under-earning and money subject, you do the same thing with the Overcoming Under-earning book. So that means getting honest first, like getting very clear and honest about your finances, about your money situation. So this next checklist, again, you can rate yourself. And, you know, even when I do work with others in 12-step, when we do the inventory, I'm always like, yes, we need to be very honest, and we don't want to use this to beat ourselves up or shame ourselves or make ourselves feel worse or get into self-pity or victim mode. So there's a balance, right? So for this as well for you, it's not about, oh my God, you know, I'm horrible. And it's just about like a grounded, honest look at reality. Because you have to see what's here in order to like do something about it. So this is called the problem indicator checklist. Let me pull it up. Okay. Even in the book, they're like, don't skip this. People will want to skip it. They won't want to do it. So, the author's like, no, don't skip this. So again, if you're participating, keep track of how many you say yes to with this. Number 1, deep down, I believe that someone and or something will rescue me. So I want to pause on that one because that's really compelling. And in the book, at some point, she says, like, the people that don't overcome under earning usually all share this. There's just this deep intrinsic belief or energy that someone or something is going to rescue them or save them. And I can relate to that. There's just, it's like a feeling sense. I think because it's been there for a long time and it's changing, and I can identify with that. So, and the thing that does is it puts us into victim. It puts us into not having to take action. It puts us into no personal responsibility. If I'm waiting for someone or something to save me, well, then I don't have to do anything. And it's like waiting for the knight in shining armor or whatever, like whatever that means for you. So that one's very interesting. It starts out with that. So that's number 1. Number 2, someone else handles all my financial decisions. Number 3. Now, okay, this book was written when there were checkbooks, when there were checks. So adjust accordingly for whatever that means for you now. And maybe you'd still have a checkbook. Number 3, I rarely balance my checkbook. 4, I forget to record checks I've written. 5, I don't know the total amount of my debt. 6, creditors keep calling me. 7, I use credit cards for cash advances at the ATM. 8, I don't have a savings account. 9, I have only paid the monthly minimum credit card payment. 10, I can't even afford monthly payments. 11, I was recently turned down for credit or a loan. 12, I have less than 2 months living expenses in the bank. 13, I routinely spend more than I earn. 14, if I lost my job, I'd have difficulty paying the next month's bills. 15, I don't know my net worth. 16, I worry about money a lot. 17, I have trouble paying my rent or house payments on time. 18, I put off seeking medical attention because I can't afford it. 19, I dip into savings and investments to pay bills. 20, I take out new loans before old ones are paid off. 21, I have back taxes I've never paid. So, does that land with anyone? And that's, those are problems. And again, it's not about shaming or guilting. It's about honesty, self-accountability. Yeah. It's like coming out of denial in a sense. Yeah, lottery tickets, for sure. So, how was that for you? Yeah, I hear that, Kimmy. I mean, if people can relate to that list, it can be confronting. And it's like, yes, be with your feelings. They're totally valid. It makes sense. Have compassion. Allow yourself to feel. Just be, present with whatever comes up. And use this as, a wake-up call, as a nudge from the universe. Like, this is good. This is all here to help you. Michael Singer says, throw it a party. Awesome, Kimmy. Yeah, so I mean, if this relates to you, there's a lot more, in the book. I would suggest getting this book. So this book has been around my field for a few years. And what made me actually be like, okay, I'm getting it now and I'm going to do this book to the fullest was I had a coaching session with a coach, 2 years ago or so. And she was like, we were talking about coaching, business, and things like that. And she's like, every coach that I know that has gotten the book and done every single exercise, like fully, and, put your full effort into doing what the book says, because it's like a workbook. You write things, you do a money autobiography, you do these different, you do journaling, and it's also about the outer of like, maybe raise your rates, maybe, applying for jobs, different jobs or whatever, starting your own business. It's about the outer and the inner. But she said every coach that did the book doubled their income. So I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, who wouldn't want to do that? And it's not yet doubled, but it did make a dramatic impact for me. So, yeah, Tina, the point about waiting for someone or something to rescue me. And that's a really good, interesting point about the dynamic of praying. It reminds me of the story probably many of you have heard about, there's somebody drowning in a river and they're praying, God, rescue me, God, help me, God, save me. And, a boat comes by and the guy's like, no, I'm waiting for God to rescue me. And then, a helicopter comes by. No, I'm waiting for God to rescue me. And it's like, this is God trying to rescue me. You have to take the help. I don't know if that exactly applies, but it's a good story nonetheless. But yeah, we need to be looking, and also we get to be taking action. Abraham Hicks talks often about yes, be in the energy, be in the manifestation, be in the law of attraction, be in the doing all the visualizations, and not just sitting on the couch and just staying there. Renuka, you can get the book, it's a very famous book, so you can find it in whatever channels online that you would get a book. It's American, it's US based, it's English. So, Audible is where most audiobooks are if you want to listen to it. Yeah, the normal channels. Hi, Kay. So the book is, here's a visual of it in my Audible, Overcoming Underearning by Barbara Stanny. Awesome, Tina. So it's, I say this often as far as manifestation is being happy where we are and excited for what's to come. So if you have a long practiced energy of not being happy where you are, and I mean, this can be for anything, and we're talking about money, so we'll focus on that. You've got to do the inner work too. You've got to change your vibration. You've got to, again, like, be self-responsible, empower yourself, do the inner work to being like, it's a decision I'm making, because the under-earning mindset is like, it's happening to me and I can't do anything about it. And I can relate to that. For many years of my life, it's like, I'm a victim to this. Like, I'm looking for a job and blah, blah, blah. And why am I living paycheck to paycheck? I really did think it was all outside of my control. I did. And it's so interesting because, I am a living example of this. So I am living it. I have lived it, and I know it's true because of my lived experience. And so then I know it's possible for anyone and for you. Of like, when I did the inner work, when I transformed, when I changed, my bank account default balance has gone up to the most it's ever been. I can think of time, like, whatever, 15 years ago or so, I had a job. It was paid. I was even married, so it was like a 2-income household, but I lived paycheck to paycheck, and I didn't make very much, and I just never had any money. It was just like waiting to get paid again. And then, my bank account, like, default balance was like $200. So, like, I get it if that's you. And I'm here to say, like, it can be different. I remember, this memory just came to me. So, yeah, like, back then, this was almost 20 years ago. I remember I printed a screenshot of my bank account, and I, like, photoshopped it, or I wrote in it of, like, what was it? Like a $4,000 bank account balance. And I literally just thought that was impossible. And was like, that would be the ultimate. And that, now that is, more than true. And I had to become the person that had the bigger bank account balance. The person I was, with my mindset, with my thoughts, with my emotions, with my beliefs, with my habits, with my behaviors, with my actions. That was my result. So as I changed and transformed, that balance just naturally went up and up. And even in the past few months, I was working with, like, a money coach and a finance coach. And now, like, next level is I am paying, like, I have different accounts now, and I have my personal, because I'm just like, I have my own business, right? So it's all set up now. I pay myself every month. Before it was just like, here's all the money, and I'm whatever, working with it and paying, and it was unorganized, and that's okay. It's a journey and it's a process. And so, like, the next level has been, I have a paycheck every month from my business that I pay myself. So it's about more and more about being in integrity and also like being boundaried and knowing what's going on in there. Hi, Adele. Hi, Anisha. One of the biggest things for under-earners is making a budget. The dreaded B word. Hi, Sandy. Budget. So who all hears the word budget and is like, ah? Wonderful. And that's okay. So even getting into integrity, because what we value, we pay attention to, right? And I know there's been plenty of times in the past where I'm like, I hope there's enough money in there, and I'm going to the ATM and hoping that, it'll come out. And like not wanting to look. Yeah, Kimmy, that's awesome. So I use an app called EveryDollar, and there's many apps, and it's all tied up. It's all connected to my banks. And so I have a monthly budget. I pay myself. I have my personal expenses, in that side of my budget, and then I have my business expenses. Hold on. So all of this is about like respecting and valuing money and ourselves. Because money is just energy. It's just a piece of paper, or it's just a number on a screen. Yeah. Well, it's okay, Kimmy. Like, I appreciate you sharing. You're speaking for others who have done the same thing. So, here's a place for you to work with self-compassion before going into needing to do anything about it, right? Like, little Kimmy, the wounded child, when they get worried about money, they buy something to feel better. Yeah, of course, that makes sense. And how long has that been going on? Like, if we were in a coaching session, we would dive into that. So, we can't shame ourselves or guilt ourselves or blame ourselves into change. So that's why I said earlier, like, looking at all this, like, being grounded and being in your sovereign self to the best of your ability. When you explore all this, like being your reparented best self, like, okay, this is what's going on. Here it is. Okay, there's sensations, there's feelings. Okay. Oh, there's the wounded inner child that's freaking out. I've got you, sweetie, like whatever. And really not going into, like, working with yourself and not going into a shame spiral about any of this, because that's the old pattern. It's just not helpful. It's not loving. It's okay if that occurs. And if you're listening to this, you have enough awareness to work with yourself there. So we are going to do some Reiki and Ancestral Clearing. And I'm going to do this specifically around this issue. I'm just thinking about pulling up, yeah. So If you are a premium member of Insight Timer, you have access to this in my premium tracks, the Comprehensive Abundance Prayer. So it's a specific ancestral clearing prayer for abundance. I'm going to see if I can find it quickly, just the typed out version that I can read. Let's see. So y'all go ahead and get into, here it is, awesome. Get into a comfortable space. Because, you know, there's so much ancestral, generational energy, survival energy around all of this, of course. You know, and we carry every experience we've had and every incarnation. You know, everything is happening now. Time is an illusion. So we're healing all this now in real time as well. So just being really gentle and present. So go ahead and close your eyes. Just take a few deeper, slower breaths in and out. And just feel your body, feel gravity pulling your body into the surface that you're on. Really just feeling your seat, feeling that heaviness, the pressure. If you're sitting or whatever, feeling your feet like resting on the ground. Feeling your arms heavy in your lap. And I'm going to bring in Solvana healing energy now. And Solvana energy is all about transformation and new beginnings. So your higher self draws in the energy in the perfect way for you. So if you're open to receiving, just have that intention. If not, that's fine too. I'm a channel for that energy. And you can have whatever intention you'd like for it, you know, in the context of our session today. The bigger intention is to have transformation and healing around anything to do with money, finances, survival, especially like root chakra. Safety, security. And just allow yourself to receive. And I invite you too to play with, just as a experiment right now, of being in the energy of how it would feel to have all your money problems solved forever. How would it feel to have an abundance in your bank account right now. You can give yourself that feeling state right now. Would there be relaxation? Would there be relief? Just feel the body relax. Isn't it wonderful now? That I don't ever have to worry about money again. Isn't it wonderful? And just let that in 2%, 5%, 100%, wherever you're at. Isn't it wonderful? And the more you're in this feeling state, the more you will shift your actual experience. Because the only reason why we want anything is because we want to feel a certain way in the having of it. So around money, if you've had a long practiced way of being that wasn't peaceful, it's okay, makes sense, and now is just a fun experiment in the moment. Just feel how it feels. Isn't it wonderful? All my needs are more than met. I don't have to worry. There's so much abundance. All my money problems are solved forever. Just feel that in the body. As this Silvana energy supports this transformation and new beginning in this area of life. Isn't it wonderful? I can just relax. It feels so good to feel burden lifted. And giving yourself this experience before your external reality changes will help it to shift and transform faster. So we can work with the outer work, doing the things in the 3 dimensions, like taking the actions, doing the uncomfortable. We can do the inner work around mindfulness, around beliefs, around presence, and we can do the manifestation work. As well as the spiritual work of all of the wonderful spiritual methods that are out there, like this Silvana energy, like the Ancestral Clearing. Just feel all of this wonderful support surrounding you now. You are not alone. feel that supportive source. Infinite creator, source of all that is, we love you. Thank you for loving us. We humbly ask that you open, bless, expand, lead, guide, and direct us into your perfect light, love, and life. And always, completely, now and forever, please and thank you. I will now share the comprehensive abundance prayer offered by John Newton. What is appearing in your life is often a reflection of what you feel inside. Abundance may take many forms, but none of these is your source. This prayer is encoded with a direct connection to the Creator consciousness itself, which is our true source. As you hear this prayer, you are connecting to Source directly and beginning clearing past burden, imprints, and beliefs, allowing more abundance to effortlessly flow into your life. Infinite Creator, all that you are, for everyone hearing my voice and hearing this prayer now, all of our family members, all of our relationships, all of our ancestors and all of their relationships through all time, space, and dimension. For all hurts or wrongs around our supply, for all times there wasn't enough, for the times we struggled to survive, for all hardship, famine, and adversity, and all that we made it mean about life, people, and you, Creator. Please help us all forgive each other, forgive ourselves, forgive all people, and all people forgive us completely and totally, please and thank you. For all the times we were out of integrity with money, lied, cheated, or stole, and the times this was done to us. For all times we disrespected or were out of integrity with the earth and the life of the earth, and for the times we took more than we needed. Please help us all forgive each other and forgive ourselves, be at peace with each other and at peace with ourselves, please and thank you. For all who represented God, all governments, parents, and authority figures, for the times they misused power, position, and authority and let us down. For all times we were oppressed, disrespected, and minimized, and times we did this to another. For all patterns of guilt, fear, shame, and unworthiness, and the times we felt we weren't enough. Please help us all forgive each other and forgive ourselves, be at peace with each other and at peace with ourselves, please and thank you. Creator, please help us see ourselves, each other, and all creation through your loving, effulgent, and abundant vision for the highest good always. Please and thank you, please and thank you, please and thank you. So breathing deeply. If you'd like to come back to a wakeful state, you can. Thank you all for joining. Hello, Rochelle, Samia. And the name of the book was Overcoming Underearning. If anybody purchases this book, I will gift you my group Money Mindset Program workbook that has most all of the exercises from the book and is a wonderful supplement. And that will be my gift to you if you take the action and purchase the book. So send me a message if you do that. I'll show you again. It's called Overcoming Underearning by Barbara Stanny. Actually, and I told you all, I am in a school for my coaching business right now, and part of the curriculum is this book, and the author of the book will be doing a master class in our school like this month. So I'm super excited about that. Thank you, Anisha. Hi, Angela. You're welcome. Karen, Kay. I'm passionate about this because, just like we all teach what we most need to learn, and the money, finance piece for me has been a huge one throughout my life. And I've come so far, and of course there's still more to go. But I'm passionate about it because I have had results, and I know it to be true. I mean, just like whatever, with everything I teach and with my coaching and all that I'm up to, I do it because I've lived it, I've experienced it, I've had pain, I've had suffering, and I've made progress, and I've had healing. Yeah, J.E., I suggest you get this book and see and apply it and see what comes up for you, and really be open. Be open to possibility if you're up for that. If not, that's totally fine. I mean, everybody is wherever they are, and we're all on our own path. And I would I'll say that if you are here hearing my voice and seeing this message, there's something here for you, because out of all the millions of things anyone could be doing at this moment, here we are. As Michael Singer says, this moment took 13.8 billion years to get here, so it's here for a reason. Anisha, man, awesome. Completed 125 pages. Amazing. Yeah, J.E., I hear you. And I stand for possibility. Yes, it may be more difficult with health challenges, and it's possible. I always say to my coaching clients, if one person on the history of humanity has done the thing, or has overcome the thing, or whatever, then it's possible. And, I stand for possibility. Hi, Gina, welcome. Yeah, and so if somebody's joined in and they've, missed part of it and it's resonating, this will be uploaded as a replay on my YouTube channel, so you can catch the entire thing. Awesome, Gina, you got the book. So if you missed it, or if anybody else missed it, if you do take action and get the book, I will gift you the workbook. It's like 50 pages. It's very easy to read. And it's got most of the exercises from the book. So as I said, I'm doing it again. So I'm listening in the audible, and then when it says, okay, journal exercise or blah, blah, then I will look in my workbook, and there's a table of contents, and there it's all in order. It's not every single one, but it's like 95% or 98% of them. And I'm like, oh, okay, now it's this exercise to do. And just seeing it. So if you get on Audible, having the workbook, if you have the book, it still can be valuable, because it's easy to read and it's got it all there. So I love everybody's action. So please send me a private message. I'll get you the workbook. Awesome, Anisha. Yeah, Anisha's used the workbook. And also, so I did my group coaching program last year, the money mindset program. And you'll see that just whatever on the workbook at the bottom of the page. But I also created a private web page on my website for members of the program that has a lot of powerful resources. It's got different things. It's got mindset talks from Steve Chandler, one of my favorite coaches. It's got, I have done hypnotherapy recordings there that are very powerful to help rewire the programming. It's got a couple of the exercises like the Audible. I recorded the Audible because it's like a meditation that you need to listen to. So I've pulled that out and it's there as a recording, and some Joe Dispenza, and yeah, so there's different things there. So I'm happy to gift that to anybody as well. Great. Awesome. Samia, Jackie. Hi, Geraldine. Yes, been a long time. So please join me Sunday morning in the Western Hemisphere for Saturday. Well, it used to be called Saturday Night Live. Now that I'm living in Mexico, it's called Sunday Morning Live. And we'll do our card readings and we'll do our Reiki and clearing. So join me for that. Awesome, Anisha. So glad to hear it, and would love to hear, how things have been going for you if you care to reach out. There is a Michael Singer card here that, anyway, I saw it this morning and I'm like, I don't remember pulling this, but it's beautiful. And it's actually like what I was helping us tune into in the meditation. As far as like, okay, yes, we want the manifestation to occur, and also more important is how do we feel on the inside and how can we shift that and work with that within ourselves. It says enthusiasm, joy, and love. If you can feel that all the time, then who cares what happens outside? Very Michael Singer. Well, he said it. Enthusiasm, joy, and love. If you can feel that all the time, then who cares what happens outside? Yeah, you're right, Anisha. So if you listen to the hypnotherapy, it's a minimum of 21 days. So awesome. Great. So I will see everybody for Sunday Morning Live. Please follow me, subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Insta, whatever. Give a donation if you'd like, all that good stuff. And I will see you all very soon. Bye-bye. And watch for this replay on my YouTube channel within 48 hours.